She bad, I like this. Cowgirl, now she wanna ride it. Face cut valid and she got nice lips. Innocent and a freak, that's my type shit. 10 out of 10.
I even thought about it. If I see an ad on Twitter, I'm not paying it. It's a scam. I feel like I'm on 4chan. Why would I ever trust something?
Yeah, why should there be
it's
an
the most
ad?
untrustworthy.
Yeah.
I'll look at like an LJ hooker thing will come up. And I'm
You're
like, oh, this
right.
must be a scam or something. I was like,
100%.
and I'm like, oh, it's probably not.
Yeah.
It's not.
I click on it sometimes looking for the meme.
Yeah, I'm just
So
like,
I'm like, what's there something...
I would never buy a single or trust a single ad I ever saw on Twitter.
Yeah.
Ever, because I just feel like I'm on 4chan.
100%.
I'll be like, yeah, of course I got hacked. I'm on Twitter.
Yeah,
Looking it up,
completely.
like-
I'm not going to buy something.
Just like Hitler. The next video is them,
Yeah.
like, we got the wrong guy.
Yeah, happy birthday, and it's just... And then it's the craziest meme you've ever seen in your life. And you just...
The, like, African face.
Yeah.
Like, when we came to Africa, when they come to Europe.
Yes.
It's like, we kings. In, like, the hut. Or it's like Rome 2,000 years ago, Africa 2 minutes ago.
And it's legitimately 4chan. You just have like essays on why white civilization is the best. And it'd be like, here's a thread. And you'll see this like Roman architecture. And I'm like, I know what this is. You don't even have to look at the caption to know what it's going to be. Why are they incapable of building something as sustainable as this?
And it's crazy some of the stuff. There's guys that are like really going hard against it.
What do you mean, go against?
Intellectual guys against all those posts with like data.
Oh, that's good.
Because they're sending it, because they're like, I know that professor, and they're just taking it all out of context.
Okay.
And it's like, yeah, that's true, but you've left out like the whole thesis of the thing, and you're kind of wording it in the way that it's not.
That's kind of the
guys,
yeah.
and they're sending them to the people who did the actual data to be like, look how your research is being used right now.
It's not their fault.
No, but just saying, like,
Yeah.
just to say, like, people just be wary. Because
Of
people are
course.
using your data out of context for their
that
eugenics
makes
whole
sense.
thing.
Yeah, of course. But that's good. I think that's like the whole goal or the hope.
Free
The
speech.
hope with free speech is things like that will start
That'll
to happen.
drown out.
Because maybe after a while, I don't know, is it either going to be boredom,
It's almost
a
like Jake
revolution,
Shields
or...
now is chill
What do
at
you
this
mean?
level on Twitter.
What do you mean chill?
He's not even that bad anymore
Oh,
compared
yeah,
to
no,
what
of
you
course
see.
not, of course.
He's
yeah.
almost like a low, like just a
Because there literally are levels. There's like
because
extreme.
it's getting crazier.
Yeah.
It's like the Barry Stanton guy. He took it to the next level,
Yeah.
and other people will now do that again.
The worst ones are always Australians, in all honesty.
Yeah.
That's actually as bad as
Some
it
of the
gets.
gnarliest, yeah.
It's like, yeah, we're going to go to this Vietnamese shop, or we're going to go to this
Really? I haven't
indigenous
seen
area, and we're going to protest. But they're as bad as it gets.
I've seen ones that's like, land back, all right, all of it. Every last meter.
Yeah, I think it's funny because it seems like the Australians are the most extreme.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are like, I'm not just going to have fun at a meme. I'm actually going to put it into place.
We want to do
We're
something.
setting up the White Australia
Policy,
yeah,
bringing it back.
we're bringing this back. Australia for the white man. We're
Yeah.
going to have this march tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's like, here's footage from our march. We have one coming up on Thursday.
Yeah, if you want to come.
Yeah. And it's like, we're going to this indigenous area and we're just going to be present. We've heard there have been some shoplifting events happen in this area of the Northern Territory, and we're just going to go guard it. Just 20 white men just out the front of this like convenience store. But that's the scary thing. That's where... But there's not many people that engage with that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? No one actually
Not many
wants
people
to...
in Australia are on Twitter.
Yeah. And even just in the...
And not get in that content realm.
Yeah. And even in America, I don't think it's happening the same way.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like, hey, on Thursday we're going to this spot. And
Oh, not at all. It's all jokes.
It's all jokes.
It's
Yeah.
like half of the people at least posting it
Yeah.
know that they're just doing it for clickbait.
Because it's this... I always retweet it. I always like it and screenshot it because I just have a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
It literally the majority
Some of it
things.
can be, some of it's funny.
Yeah.
It is funny. It is just like a funny racist meme.
Yeah.
You're like, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, legitimately.
Some's like, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that's just
It's like,
that's
what are you
not
trying
even
to
that
get
funny.
at? This is... It's kind of... It
But some
becomes so
really is
blurred.
just funny.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, it gets very blurred.
Yeah.
Because I think you start off like
It's like
praising Hitler.
edgelord to the core.
Yeah.
It's like, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You praise Hitler, and then it's like, okay, you've been doing this for a month now.
Yeah.
And then you do essays on why it's actually the best.
Yeah.
And I think you just go down this path of you become the character.
Yeah.
Literally.
Become the character you're kind of joking about.
I think that happened with Gavin McInnes.
Really?
Yeah, it started off as like we hated being asked like silly questions from the press or the way they would kind of take things out of context. And then I think, what did he do? Oh, he had a cover where he like, I think Sarush, the Indian guy or Pakistani guy in their group.
Yeah.
Him and Shane were like skinheads and they had him like duct taped. And it's like, this is the cover.
Yeah.
And it's like Canada for the white man or something.
Did you see the Dave Smith went on Flagrant?
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
He had a pretty cool little take.
What was he talking about?
On like Twitter, kind of.
Okay. The state of like free speech Twitter.
More of like all the culture wars.
Okay.
It was a pretty interesting take.
Yeah.
Where he almost was the conspiracy.
Yeah.
Was that it's the government.
I thought he was going to say it was Israel. We get it, Dave.
Because they're kind of being like, oh, is this like a foreign government to like pushing this content?
Yeah.
And he's kind of like, I don't even know if it's foreign. It's like, it's the CIA.
Yeah.
Want everyone, or not the CIA, but like the government want everyone arguing over trans bathrooms.
Yes. Yeah.
Because then they're not arguing over banks making trillions of dollars a year.
Of course.
Who's actually screwing them over.
Yeah.
So let's just have them argue over trans people.
Yeah.
Which like it's not even really real. It
Yeah.
doesn't affect us. It's not going to take money out of our pockets.
Yeah.
We don't want them arguing over Lockheed Martin making $100 on the stocks. That's what we don't want them arguing about.
Okay. Yeah.
Be like,
yeah.
hey, should it be these like big military weapon manufacturers are allowed to lobby to the government? Should that be
Interesting.
Should we
As soon as it
protest
starts
about
to
that
do
maybe
yeah.
instead of like protesting about the opening ceremony at the Olympics? Like it's embarrassing. That's
What is it going to? Is it going to turn
That's like the
into
saddest thing I've seen Andrew Tate do. I was like, you've just
What was he? Oh, when he
they
went
protested
protesting
at the French embassy in Romania about the opening ceremony.
It's almost like
It was
a
so
planned
embarrassing.
move. It was really strange.
Weird.
He has his little sign, and I'm like, what is
These
this?
weird
What
little-
actually is this? It really makes you think. It's like, because he knows he's.
Are you well traveled? Have you been like France is one of the most like open sex societies on earth? Of course. Like, what did you expect they were gonna do?
But just such a lowly thing to kind of be upset about. When you do kind of claim you're this guy trying to leave the Matrix
And trying to
after the
expose
big
government
things, yeah.
corruption.
And you just go for something
It's like you're
like that.
falling for the trap.
Yeah.
It's like, do you think what's that doing?
Unless I want to try to go the other way. Let's try to figure out a way that is actually the problem.
What?
The opening ceremony.
What's the problem?
They're trying to corrupt the youth.
But that's the
in
whole
that way.
thing.
Yeah.
That it's like, that's the psyop.
Okay.
Is that your biggest threat is the kids being corrupted in schools about woke agenda.
Yeah.
And it's the issue isn't that the housing market's going up, the debt that they're going to be living in, all their jobs are being taken, the government's just screwing them over left, right, and centre. That's not the issue. It's that there was a few teachers at a few schools that did some weird stuff. That's the main threat to civilization in your country.
Yeah, that is true. Unless I almost... I'm
But
trying
it really
not to-
isn't. Like, it's
I'm trying not to
chaos.
be a contrarian here.
But that's why it's such a good psyop, because it gets
Yeah.
everyone. It kind of does. It sparks that survival. It's like, hey, maybe do leave the kids alone a bit.
Yeah.
But it's like, but that's not the main thing we should be talking about. That is like number 28
Or is it?
down on the list.
I've started to... I don't know if I'm waking up right now. Do you think that is actually the worst possible thing?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Do you think corrupting the youth is actually
But how are
bad?
they corrupting the youth?
Through kind of forcing it in media, through
Forcing what?
forcing I guess just
Sexualization.
yeah, or just differing ideas on sexuality and gender identity. I'm again This
Yeah.
is just an idea that I'm going
I
with.
don't know.
I wonder if corrupting the idea of even having a family, having children, when
Right,
it's like
watering down that, and it
Yeah.
feeds into the eventually. There
You're
will
just
be
not
more.
gonna-
Just women will have a job of birthing children, and they'll get paid to do it, and then they just go into the government system of schooling, and it's more like nannies who are paid take care of the kids, and then it's the whole equality thing
no, I don't even think that.
where it could feed more into, well, hey, it's not fair that he has $10 million
Yeah.
and gets to send them to this school,
Yeah.
and then they don't have as much money and have to go to that school, and they're bad parents. Let's just get rid of parents altogether, and the government just raise the children, and then it's all fair and equal.
I think there's no children.
Is this just the robotic future?
I think this is where you have countries that are booming. Places like India, places like China.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on in Russia. I literally don't know.
Yeah.
But you have these places that haven't stopped.
Yeah.
Places like Africa. And then you just have these, literally the West crumbles because there are no more people. And you have these countries that are just booming, skyrocketing, like China.
Yeah.
With money. I don't know what their situation is now with the one-child policy. But you have places like India, and I know India, again, I think I mentioned it in the last episode, but is one of the most thriving economies in terms of like it's going up and up right now. And you just have the end of the West. It ends.
As the leaders.
Yeah, it's like you could have these, and this is where you could talk about like the threat from China, the threat from the East. China has like control over TikTok. How much influence do they have over these social media companies, and what's actually going on? Do they want to stop procreation?
Right.
So they can, like, the war finally happens. Let's say in 20 years, right?
Yeah.
20 years. Okay, time for the war. Where are our soldiers?
Be like, oh.
Where are our soldiers? Like, we got like some 55-year-olds, but what about the kids? Are there any 20-year-olds? No. The youngest guy we got is like 31. You're like, wait, how did that happen? Dude, everyone became non-binary and didn't have kids.
But that won't happen. People are going to become non-binary.
Huh?
But that isn't happening. It'll be more that people focus on their careers.
They focus on their careers.
And it's too expensive to have a kid.
Too expensive
or
to have a kid.
at least you're brainwashed to think that it's... I guess it is too expensive.
You don't need to have a kid. I'm not attracted to women.
But that's not... People's sexualities.
I think
It's
that's...
nature.
It's becoming
That's not-
warped. I think they're trying to warp. If it becomes so... and this is
Potentially,
just-
yeah.
potentially. This is like throwing ideas. If sexuality becomes so warped to it's this thing that's just purely about you...
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of it is, I'm sounding crazy right now. If it is so focused on you, what do you feel? What do you may actually be this, you may actually be that. You end up just thinking about that. Suddenly you're like 50 years old and you're like, I've had such a great life. My sexuality is this thing that I have down to like an art. I know exactly what I like, what I'm attracted to, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm open. I have my community, but I'm not going to have a kid.
Yeah.
Why? Where does that help me?
Yeah. It's the selfishness.
Yeah, the selfishness.
Will crumble a society.
Yeah, because at the end of I think there are certain societies or communities, countries that are like, I'm having kids.
Yeah.
This is what you do. That's the reason for it. Because I need to bring life into this world.
Yeah.
And that could be a bigger problem. I don't know if I'm going back that direction now.
But I think it's people use that analogy to Rome.
Okay, yeah.
And where it's like when a society becomes too good.
Yeah.
And people they don't have to work anymore.
Yeah.
And people have too much time to think.
Yeah.
You lose your survival mechanism and you die out.
Yeah.
Because you need to be in a survival state.
Of course.
That's nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we are just an animal. And when we get too comfy, we just get taken out.
You get
either
killed.
naturally or you just evolve out.
Interesting.
Because like Mother Nature wants the strong one.
Yeah.
And it will just...
There was no need for this guy to be around or this girl to be around.
So your generations won't continue. Whether nature will just do... If you're too lazy, your sperm just won't be there anymore. And the eggs will just get younger and younger and just...
Yeah, that's a very scary one.
Yeah. People won't be able to literally have children anymore. It'll just like wear out because of something.
And this is where there is... One second. There is the threat of the...
I guess that all feeds into like a...
Maybe you're going to have to talk for a little bit. I'm just going to have to grab a charger.
That could... I'll just wait. But soon we're going to be talking about Maryvale. That'll be the title of this podcast. And whether it's good or not, they've monopolized and taken over the entire restaurant industry in Sydney. So there's places like Toddy's, etc. High-end restaurant industry, so-called high-end. Yeah. But we'll go back to, what was I saying just before you left? The crumbling of the society. Oh, where this could just be a natural evolution into AI and robotics. And that is the evolution of humanity.
And this is
where
the
we
thing,
go, we become
that.
a cyborg. And over the next 200-300 years, Neuralink, and then we find like, oh, we can live for like 400 years now.
So chill.
Chill. You literally don't even have to think about...
First 200, it's you.
And it's like, you don't really have to have kids anymore. We don't need to rely on families to produce the next offspring.
Oh, you mean it's going to be done through
We can just
science.
grow. We can just get a bit of your DNA. We can make you a kid if you want. No stress.
Interesting.
You want one, we'll get you one. And it'll be your kid. It'll have all your DNA. But like, you don't really need to procreate anymore. But no rush either.
Yeah.
And we become like such cyborg
animals. We enter that next stage of civilization. Yeah. But I get that. That's what came to mind was like, okay, is this just natural? Is this just what happens when you have like just technology becomes so just hand in hand with existence?
Yeah.
To the point where your phone is kind of on you at all time. At times, you spend most of your day like in technology.
Yeah.
Unless, or people try to say that there's a foreign threat that is behind all this.
Yeah.
And I wonder how true that is. Is there a foreign threat? Is it China?
Yeah.
That is actually behind all this? Because they wanted to become the world's biggest superpower.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we got to take out America. We're going about it in a smart way.
But I think it's like where it goes more that it is just the American government.
Yeah.
And not saying government, it's more it's like 6 trillionaires who own the most things. That's literally, and that's the scary part of it.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult necessarily to stop. And that's why they're so scared and needing to distract. Because it's like eat the rich. There's only like 20 of us. And if they take us all out, there it goes.
So let's say this comes down to greed. Because I always like to think of the
power.
idea of...
It's power. People don't want to give up their power.
Yeah. I don't want to give up power. I'm willing to sacrifice the good of the country for my own power.
Well, they're globalists. They have no loyalty to the country. They're just here for the money. They live in Switzerland, up in the mountains. Or they live in on the ocean, on their yacht in Italy, just cruising around. They don't really have an alliance. They have a passport for every single country.
Yeah. And it's about
America, schmerica.
Me.
There would be a few countries. It's like they don't want migrants coming to their place in Switzerland. Okay. That's what they would be worried about. And they're going to make sure that's not happening.
Place of Switzerland, you know what I mean? South of France, Israel. Certain places they just really care.
They care
about it every single episode. That's true.
But it's a few people. It's like, it's not many. It's a couple thousand, probably.
And so let's say these few people are responsible for destroying a country.
Distracted. Keep them distracted, fighting each other.
But destroying.
We're not the threat.
But destroying.
It's the one random trans person you don't even realize is trans who's using the toilet. Yeah. You didn't even know.
But at the end of the day, are they behind destroying? Like, do they have knowledge that acting the way they do is going to end up with the fall of this country?
How is it going to fall?
I guess if...
What are they doing that's making
if it becomes weak.
Right.
If it loses...
But they have the military might, so they're not going to lose their military power. Okay. So they don't even need people.
Interesting.
That's the weird thing about war. It's like, it's so scary and sad. And it's like 1984.
Yeah.
Where it's like... And when you go deep into it, and it can kind of freak you out, where it's like, well, it's pretty obvious it's not a real war, because we have nuclear bombs. If they actually had beef,
that's true.
It would be a few days and it's done.
Yeah,
they're fighting this like it's just it's a play. It's just like, hey, use these guns. Couple 100,000 will die.
Yeah.
We don't want to like destroy the world, obviously,
Okay.
and we're all in it together.
Yeah.
So just got to make some money.
You guys go to war.
Soldiers
do
are the
your thing,
pawns who are like, you're just making us money. Keep every bullet you're shooting, more money into my account.
Interesting.
We don't want nukes.
Yeah.
I own all the land in Ukraine. I don't want a nuke to go off there. Relax, brother.
I guess it's like, yeah, even if you, is it like gambling? It's like, okay, these two dudes hate each other. Let's find a way to make some money out of this. Let's have this be, okay, all the television stations, all the news corporations, hey, we've got this thing coming up. You're going to make a lot of money from this. You're going to get involved. The people say we're going to place bets in this. This is going to be like talked about a lot. This is going to be like content for a long time. There's going to be money in this beef. And let's just let it happen.
Yeah.
Let's just kind of like...
The two, Putin and Zelensky, aren't dying.
Yeah.
They're not going to get killed.
Yeah, of course. It's pretty insane, though, what's going on.
Yeah, it's like the wars back in the day almost seemed like the opposite. Where it's like the leaders would be at the front on the horse charging.
Yeah.
That's a war.
That's true. That's actually
a battle.
war. Yeah.
They're fighting for their people.
I want to see that again.
So you want Putin on the horse, shirtless, charging with two AK-47s akimbo.
You want
And
Obama...
a solid gold.
Yeah.
Just like, whoa.
You want Obama in Yemen.
Yeah.
He's like, he's a war criminal. Yeah, he
He was job him taking out a whole village.
I need backup. Hasta la vista, baby. He'll say cool stuff like that just on camera.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Hey, Barry, it's a kid. I ain't seen no kid.
He's like a terrorist to me.
But I like making the case because I'm very pro Obama.
Right.
I find it very strange that people go after his throat about being a war criminal.
I know. Even like the David Smith people.
It's so strange.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the things that just I try to look into as much as I can because I can't really get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
When it comes to why is he the war criminal?
Not,
not George Bush. Not anyone else.
Yeah.
Not Donald Trump. Why is he the war criminal?
Yeah.
And that's something I literally can't figure out.
Because he's the Democrat.
Is that it?
Was Bush a Democrat?
I think he was a Republican.
True.
I think.
I guess
don't
it's
know.
just like Republican pundits talking point. It's like, hey, Obama was a war criminal. Trump's going to stop the war. That's kind of it's a good talking point.
Yeah. Because I was looking into Obama's relationship with Netanyahu.
Yeah.
They weren't the biggest ally when Obama was there.
Yeah, they were. I don't think he liked...
Yeah, Obama was like, this guy isn't really looking for peace.
Yeah.
This guy, I don't know. We can't really support this dude who's like obviously
he's a bit
not wanting
crazy.
peace in this region.
Yeah.
And
he's doing things to stir the pot.
Yes.
He's
like,
a
this
pot
doesn't
stirrer.
seem like a good guy. Yeah. I don't know. That doesn't sound very war criminally to me.
I know.
The dude is like, I don't know. This guy seems a bit off it.
Yeah.
I was also looking into the history. It always ends up with Israel. But just the history of Netanyahu in government. I think he was the prime minister in the late 90s.
It's like the longest serving, yeah.
Yeah. But I remember in the late 90s, he was the dude who was like, okay, we're going to give more land, appeal to like more land for the West Bank.
Yeah.
And then he was the dude who was like, I'm going to come in, I'm going to kind of do the right thing. I want to try to get peace.
Yeah.
And he was kicked out like within a few months.
Really?
And it literally took him 10 years. He's like, I'm not making that mistake again. But just the history of that is so funny.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, if you want to be in power, you have to kind of act like us.
Yeah.
You may want to give land back. You may want to try to look for peace, but that's not what we want. And if you actually want this position of power, you got to do what we want to do, which I found was a very interesting thing.
Yeah.
A very interesting thing. I guess it's like...
Almost did a full
shift. He had to go... what he actually did was go like more hard line the other direction.
Well, I even wonder within like the government there, where the Mossad have all these blackmailing, if some of their governments are blackmailed, like he got blackmailed.
Interesting.
And there is the really far right hardcore extremists, you know, have done a coup and have taken over the Mossad a bit.
Yeah.
And they're this like, no, we want like greater Israel. that's our objective.
Interesting.
You've seen like the Greater Israel map,
Yeah, I think so.
where it's like all of Lebanon, half of Iraq, all
Yep.
West Bank, Gaza, blah blah blah.
Yes.
And it's like, you know, there could be a full coup going on within the government. He's blackmailed.
Yeah.
He doesn't even really want to. He's stuck in a situation.
Gosh.
And
that
it's
is
that guy that's with him, the
Herzog or no?
Nah. He was like a literal terrorist.
Oh, okay,
He was like
right.
part of a terrorist group
Yeah, yeah.
who would do like car bombs in the West Bank and stuff.
Interesting.
I think.
Yeah.
But he's like, would go to the West Bank and with rifles and hand them out to everyone.
Yeah.
And was like the crazy one.
Gosh. It's stepping up, and it feels like each week we just keep on talking about this.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I don't know,
always
maybe
comes-
this is...
can come back to it a lot.
Because I think what happened, was it... How many people? I don't know if it was 8 or like 20 people killed in the West Bank.
Yeah.
There's starting to be a little bit of tension going there.
Oh, really?
What's happening
It's
in
sparking
Lebanon?
up.
Yeah. Lebanon's
It's
becoming
kind
worse.
of weird. I wonder if it's kind of sad, but like, I do feel like maybe Iran are waiting to strike on like October the 7th, just as like a retaliation.
Yeah, that's
thing.
funny.
But legitimately,
Actually waiting for that date
Yeah.
to make it a whole thing.
and
It's
they're
like,
gonna
that's how
make it a
petty
whole
we are.
thing. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that'll
That
be our
is-
revenge. We're planning a big attack
Gosh. Because it is funny where it's like, yeah, we're going to...
because that was the anniversary of their other terrorist attack, October
Yeah.
the 7th, back in whatever year it was.
Crazy if just they're doing a 9/11.
2 planes.
That'd be nuts.
That'd be crazy.
Because what's going to happen, maybe in like a few hundred years, you're going to have so many events or so many dates to the point where there's going to be like multiple 9/11s. Or maybe
Do
certain
you
ones
reckon
just
it'll
get
get to
forgotten.
that level where it's like it could just get so gnarly,
Yeah.
wars around the world where you're like,
Yeah.
it's just overwhelmed.
January 1st, you know what happened there.
Yeah.
Or what is the...
Or it just happens every day that you just get desensitized to it. It's almost like shootings in America.
True.
It's like, yeah, there's another 1,000 people got massacred or whatever. It's crazy.
I think that's
Crazy,
still
man.
going on in Sudan, but they're just not able to actually physically report on it.
I know.
Which
Yeah.
is a crazy
Insane.
thought.
Yeah.
It's like, we can't actually tell you guys what's going on here.
We don't even know. We can't even
Yeah.
get in.
So
There are
funny.
no boots on the ground.
I've been looking into the what have I been looking into?
Everyone seems so complicated when you look into like why it's happening as well.
Right. What's the
Compared to
situation?
like the Gaza where it's so like this, then blah, and there is the whole history.
Okay, yeah.
The Sudan one, it's just like I don't even get it.
Too confusing.
It's so confusing.
Yeah,
It doesn't
of
even
course.
really make sense.
Yeah. I think it does come down to like how willing is the average person to jump on this?
Yeah,
Does this make sense? Because I was looking into the Bosnian genocide
yeah.
that I think was happening in the late 90s.
Mm.
And it was just this fascinating... There's videos online of like people in concentration camps, skinny as anything. And
no one spoke.
and
about
people
it.
are just like, there's like a British reporter and it's like, what's going on here? He's like, I don't think I'm allowed to talk about this. It's so weird.
crazy.
It was like one of the most insane things I've ever seen. And they're just showing, I think all in all, there were like 10,000 people that died.
I guess
It
that's
was-
where it does come into like anti-Semitism for Israel.
Right.
They are a pretty open country
Yeah.
with disclosing what they're doing.
Okay,
And they're doing
yeah.
press conferences and like, you know,
Right.
it's like Sudan. I don't think there's been a press conference by one of the
That's
leaders
true.
and they're like
Yeah.
making up lies why they're maybe not bombing the hospital or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
They'll probably be like, we bomb hospital every one day, or you know, it'd be crazy.
No one
It's
really
like
wants to hear him
No one
speak.
really. Wants
Yeah, there's
to-
like some lady from the UN who's like, okay, we'll try to get the message to the world. We probably can't use any of that. We can't use any of that. That's tough. It's like, number one, being trans is a mental illness. And like, okay, we can't really talk about that. We can't really use any of that.
It would suck for them, I guess, in that way, where it's like, hey, we're like pretty open about it.
That's true.
Like, cut us a little bit of a break.
That's
like, you know,
true.
we're willing to be scrutinized.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I'm ready to.
I'm coming
gonna
out.
put it all out there.
I'll come to
Yeah.
the government in America. I'll come to
Can't wait for like
Washington and
Bibi
do a-
Netanyahu to like be on with Theo Vaughn. Dude, that's crazy, man. So what do you... They told me the kids in Gaza...
Gays for Gaza is like chickens for KFC, Theo. I know, it's very funny, isn't it?
Yeah, my uncle actually had too much KFC. He was the colonel, and he's just doing jokes the whole time.
Cocaine's wild, man. It's like an owl. You're like an owl,
You'll be
baby.
your old street light, yo. You know what, hummus? My uncle used to take a bath in hummus, and it said that's what turned him Palestinian. He was Jewish before he went in the bath. He took the bath in the hummus. He came out Palestinian. Okay, that sounds good. Okay.
With like the canned drink as the sponsor. I like to take a short break to, you know how people here got a great seltzer.
I would love that so much. It was so good. That was actually, I think I talked to some people. I was like, this is probably the best thing I'd ever watched in terms of like media.
I couldn't even watch it.
Really?
I was just
Why?
bored.
Really?
I was just like, what's he going to say? Trump's going to go rambling on about the same stuff he always does.
I kind of liked it. I thought it was one of the best pieces of comedy I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I was blown away with how someone can make anything funny like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, interviewing like a presidential candidate who's probably going to win.
He's like, yeah, my son's able to go hunting in the Zach. Yeah, whoa, that's got a lot of letters.
But yeah, I did enjoy. We probably have to wrap up the first one in a little sec.
Oh, we're doing two?
You're going to probably get a few in.
Yeah.
But Drink Water Podcast.
Water. Peace out. We'll go into Maryvale in the next one.
Yeah, on the next episode. You'll have to tune into that one next week.
Tune in.
Good
next
night.
week.
Yo.
She bad on him, I like this. Cowgirl, now she wanna ride it. Face car valid, that she got nice lips. And a son and a freak, that's my type shit. 10 out of 10.